And everybody, welcome to the end of July 30th, 2025 edition of the Arkansas Diamond Report. Got Dudley Dawson here, myself, Jason Patterson. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. I do not have the Hogville glam on tonight. After tomorrow night, I am becoming a fan again. I will be stepping away for the most part from Hogville. I'll be still writing the predictions column, but outside of that, I'm gonna go be a fan again. It's been that I haven't been that in 3 years now. It seems like right around, and I couldn't think of a better guy to do my last show with. Dudley, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, and it's been a joy doing this with you. And I'm glad you're getting to do something that's going to involve your kid. All mine are in their 30s now, so I don't get to see them as much. Enjoy it, and like I said, it's been a joy doing this with you. Let's do one. Let's do one more. We got a lot of info.
We do, and it's been a pleasure of mine to be able to not only provide information to Razorback fans, but doing it with the best in the business, with you and Otis, and consistently on a weekly basis, and how we're able to put things together, and it just worked. It works so well.
I said that we would do it until Happy Gilmore 2 came out, and it did. So
yeah, it did. And I'm gonna tell you what, JD was great in that movie.
Yes.
Gosh,
He played himself.
He really did. I really feel like him and Billy Bob Thornton, they find roles where they don't have to act. They just are themselves. But also, really quick, just like Dudley was saying, I'm going to go be the vice president for Band Boosters at RHS. Going to go spend a lot more time with my kiddo. Get to go.
That would be Rogers, by the way.
Yep, over here at Rogers. And going to go to all the tailgates before the football game, feeding the kids, going all to the marching competitions between September and November. And it's my plate's full, and we're just going to keep rolling it with it. So with that being said, what was your takeaways from the press conference with DVH today?
Well, a couple of things come to mind. First, Parker Cole, who obviously they were excited to get back, the 16th pick by the Milwaukee Brewers, kind of thought he'd sign, and there was some wavering in there. I think some money was thrown at him. They kind of gave him a deadline, and that money wasn't enough, so he's coming back. And Dave Van Horn made it clear today that he could be a possibility as being a starter. And we've seen him go in sometimes 4 and 5 innings, so it should be that much to space him out a little bit. He gives them another option there. Says Joey Valco, the Stanford guy who they were hoping to get, disdained Arkansas and LSU to go to Georgia for Wes Johnson. There's a lot of candidates there. There's about 10 candidates to start, and that's a good number when you only have a roster of 34, which the NCAA is limited you to. Although, because Van Horn did hint today that there is some grandfather clause for 1 year that you can have a couple of others that count but do not count, which I don't understand that, but we'll find out more about that later on. Obviously he feels good about that. He feels good about what the guys have done this summer, whether it be in the California Collegiate League or Cape Cod. Brenton Clark is a guy he brought up that's an outfielder that's certainly going to get a chance to play this year. But if I did mention it earlier, I think the number one thing was that Cam Koziel will play second and third, and will not be looked. He's not going to be looked to play first base. If he has to go over, they can. But Reese Robinette and others will be given a chance to get that first base slot, and Cam might be the third baseman. Landon Schaefer might be the third baseman. Carson Brumball, those are two freshmen, might be the third baseman. You've got a lot of options there at shortstop. Nolan Souza will not hit during fall ball, which begins September 3rd, but could do some defensive drills toward the end and might do some soft toss with the bat as it goes on. But they feel good about having him back and ready to go, and probably playing shortstop for them. You do have TJ Pompey, who's the transfer from Texas Tech, and some others that could fit in there. Those freshmen I mentioned will certainly have an option there, and they've got a lot of options at second as well. He did talk about how he wanted to go out and get some versatile pieces that could play infield and outfield, and he thought he was going to have to play more people this upcoming year than he has the past couple of years. Last year they were definitely set on a lineup. They got pretty set on a lineup toward the end of the season 2 years ago.
You know, I was really happy to hear when you had said that Sousa's going to just do fielding. One of the reasons why, as well as I do, with the torque on that shoulder with bats and stuff like that. The only thing I do worry about is if he gets in a moment where he's trying to go after a ground ball and he overextends a little bit.
He's not going to throw. He's not going to throw. If the ball is hit to him, he feels that it's an automatic out. They should. And if there's a runner on first, it's going to be timed, so they'll know whether it was a double play or not. But they're not going to allow him to overextend that thing. They're very clear about that because he could be a really big part of the team this year. He's missed a lot of games, obviously with injuries and had slump his freshman year. But overall he has, I think it's 12 home runs, 50 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases over the course of his time here. And he's shown vast potential.
Yeah, because I see him as a guy that can replace the power that like Chuck Davalon brought to the plate from that left side. I mean, we've talked to Jay Johnson about it before. Whenever from LSU, he covets, and I know that Dave does too, covets a power bat from the left side because it brings so much more versatility to your lineup, and you can't hide some of those guys sometimes. If Nolan is that guy for Arkansas next year, yeah, I mean, it could be the sky the limit.
Yeah, and you would have Robinette as well, a left-hander that would have the opportunity to get some bats plenty there. But I do think that they try to balance this out really good. The Micah New is a young man from Marshall that is a portal transfer. He's having a great Cape Cod League. He will probably be the center fielder here this year if everything goes to what it is. At one point, he was leading the Cape Cod League in home runs, stolen bases. He's a guy that will be in what we call a contract year next year, playing for your position in the draft. And he's off to a really good thing this summer. They feel good about him, feel good about Zach Stewart, as I said about Britton Clark as well. And, Keo Aloe is somebody that could be in their outfield, DH, first base. We'll see. As Coach Van Horn said earlier today, he's got some problems, but they're good problems about who he would play.
Also, one of the things that we're going to see during fall ball that we didn't see last year is the guys that he trots out there are the guys that are going to be here because of the scholarship limitations, but also having full scholarships. He's only able to carry, was it 34 or 36 players?
34, but I think it'll be 36 with the whole grandfather thing. He was talking about the 1-year deal. But yeah, you're right. And I asked him during the press conference, I said, you had to have some tough conversations with some guys that, are no longer going to be here because of that, the way the draft went, all the freshmen coming in. I know the young man from Johnson County, Shamar Johnson, is not going to be here. I think I'm right in that Jason Delamar is going to go somewhere else. And there's several kids that obviously left the team that didn't get to play last year, left and went in the portal to other places. But it's just how it works these days. No more 50. And everybody being on partial scholarship, trying to divide up 11.7 or getting your academic things. I'm not sure how that works. I wouldn't have afforded any of those academic things. It was all about my athleticism back in the day. But and I do say back in the day. You've got to figure it out these days. Everybody gets a full scholarship. That's what we wanted. For a long time, if you're a baseball fan, that's what you wanted in college baseball. But it is causing some peripheral issues that I don't think the coaches thought about. And now here they are trying to deal with and hoping. They are so hoping that there's not a rash of injuries, because if there is, you're in trouble.
So, and I'm just going to crystal ball this for just a second. Say, for instance, and no, I hate putting this out there, but it is what happens in college sports. If you do have some injuries, is this a number that the NCAA comes back off of that 34 and say, hey, you know what? We messed up. We went a little bit too conservative. We're going to extend this back to 40, for instance, giving you 6 more guys just because the sheer number between the bullpen also and in the field.
They could down the line, but it won't affect this year. They won't be able to make a rule change this year. They're going to go with the 34/36 grandfather things that they have. So you're going to have to deal with it, just like how they did the transfer portal and NIL. They're going to learn as they go. It may be good, maybe bad. As I said, I'm happy that all these kids are getting full scholarships now. But there's a lot of pitfalls that could come out of this.
Yeah, because I feel like whenever you have a correction of some sort, pendulum kind of goes way far one side after it's been way far on the other side for so long. And then it does take a little bit to get back to that center where things kind of start to operate back to normal in a way. And I think that that's what the NCAA is dealing with right now with baseball, because I really feel like that they did to go way too conservative with this.
Yeah, I agree as well. I really think that they will have to make adjustments to this. They're trying to do the right thing, but I think they leaped a little too soon.
They did. I want to switch gears for just a second. We were talking about this off air for a moment, but before I bring up the whole stuff with football that's going to be going on tomorrow, I want to do a movie review real quick. I want to do Happy Gilmore 2 really quick, just because it was such a great movie. I did like the fact that, Adam Sandler included his wife, his kiddo, or actually both of his kiddos in it, got the whole family in on it. I know that the end of it was a little out there, but that's a Happy Madison. That's a Happy Madison type movie.
Yeah, and Happy Gilmore 1, the original, was fantastic. Mm-hmm. We watched it. Beautiful wife Patriot and I watched it a couple of days ahead before we knew that the second one was coming out. Then we watched the second one. I would say it wasn't as good as the first one, but very rare are the sequels better than the original. It still was a great fun. Really enjoyed John Daly and all the other he really had a star, but all the cameos that were in there. Didn't recognize Eminem there at first.
I did not,
but I did see a video of all 73 cameos that were in there, and Travis Kelce. After this year,
so funny.
He can probably and Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was hilarious. I thought.
I really felt like Bad Bunny was kind of replicating the role that not John Leguizamo. From Mr. Deeds. Golly, what is the butler's name? I forgot his name. I got his name on the tip of my tongue here. Good Lord. Anyway, I felt like he kind of played that part too as well, where he was like, I'm supporting, but he kind of felt like he kind of took that role a little bit too. But no, I did think that JD did a hell of a job. He didn't act. I think that he was himself, like we talked about. I don't think that there was any acting that went into his role at all.
It's been a long time since he and I have hung out, but I never, ever remember back when we did back in the day, which was frequent, him, throwing down as much hand sanitizer as he did in the movie.
I'm going to tell you what, everywhere he goes now, everybody's going to bring him hand sanitizer. Mm-hmm. Just sitting there, just squirting that stuff. He's like, it's good. That really was really funny. It really was. I did like Ben Stiller's reprisal of Hal-El. That was spot on. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, and Ben Stiller's such a good actor, and the man married Marsha Brady, from the actress Christina Taylor that played Marsha Brady in the Brady movie. He's done some great things over the year. That was another good turn by him. I thought they really played that out well. Was glad to see what happened at the end. I won't spoil it, but it was fun. It was a good Friday night here at the Dawson household.
Even Rob Schneider got a cameo in there. I was happy
to see that. You can do it,
man.
Rob Schneider, who is one of the many Saturday Night Live comics that have come through down here at the Grove, just 5 minutes from my house. Shout out to Bill Adams and his people, his wife Rhonda, and all that. That's a great thing, having a comedy club 5 minutes from the house.
That is with the hey, what's up, Tatum?
Yep, that's Tatum.
Ooh, he's got that bark now.
Yeah, he's all swole up now. He's been lifting weights behind my back somewhere.
Man, well, he's gotten huge ever since we You brought him first on, and Kai's looking good too, man. Well, let's talk a little bit about this whole press conference thing, whatever you want to call it, tomorrow with Sam and the Arkansas Razorback football team, which they start camp this weekend.
At 6:20 a.m. on Friday morning.
Ooh.
My best to you, Otis.
Yeah, dude, that's a labor of love right there. But man, I'm telling you, I don't think that you're going to get any more out of Sam than you did 2.5 weeks ago. I don't think that there's going to be any more previews. There might be a little bit of talk about some of the new faces that they're going to see on campus that they might get a chance to see on practice Friday morning. But I mean, all it is basically it's just some running through some drills, seeing how guys are moving, seeing what guys are have just a little bit of pop to their pads, and then that's about it. It's about all you get.
Never been a fan of August myself. Back in high school, when you were practicing 2 days, that was not the cool thing. And then it is my birthday at the end of August, but I've never enjoyed just going to practice over and over and over. And I think there's going to be some limited times that the media is going to get to be in there and see things. They've really narrowed down what you can film, what you can report, all these kind of things. But it's going to be fun for them to get going. What a first couple of, first month and a week, when you have Arkansas State in that second week, you have Ole Miss, you have Notre Dame. The schedule is just as hard as it usually is. And you're right in that Coach Pittman's probably not going to say too much more. I do think the one thing that I enjoy out of the preseason camp in August is getting to talk to all the assistant coaches, the coordinators and all that. That's something you don't get to do during the season. And, I always like to pick their brains and listen to what they have to say about their crews, their different crews. And these days, when you have 40 people coming in that, they're freshmen and transfer portals and all that, I could throw a prediction out, but it wouldn't be based on anything other than what I think might happen, not what I know might happen.
Yeah, and I want fans to circle this game because I really feel like this could be the tipping point of which way this season's going to go. And that's going to be the Memphis game. I really feel like it is. You've got a Memphis team that's won 22 games in the last 2 years. You've got a team that is, I would almost say, frothing at the mouth to get a chance to go after a Power 4 team. They have been, even though as well as they've played over the last couple of years, they are still considered a team that is kind of below where some of these Power 4 teams are. Ryan Silverfield's got a new quarterback that he's breaking in. He doesn't have
Ryan Hennigan.
Seth Hennigan, where he can kind of count on a guy that's been there for a couple of years. He's got a new guy. I mean, hell, Drinkwitz is in the same boat as Ryan Silverfield this year. I think that Missouri is kind of a get for Arkansas this year just because A, it's at home, B, he's breaking in a new quarterback as well. And Missouri's path could be directed by the fact of how well they play against Kansas. Kansas has got a new football stadium. Looks beautiful. But I think that Arkansas's direction is going to be pivoted off of what happens at that Memphis game, because if it doesn't go well, you have a really long road to hoe on that.
Yeah, I have great respect for what Butch Jones has done at Arkansas State. Obviously, I grew up closer to Jonesboro than I did Fayetteville, in a small community of Balch, which is if you want to call it a suburb of Newport, if a suburb can have 60 people in it. When I left, there's 50, to come to college, there was 59. But I have great respect for what he's done over there. Arkansas State's been a good football program since I was born and all that. Larry Lacewell had some great things over there. Bill Keaty, my former Newport head coach, was an announcer over there, so I got to keep up with a lot of stuff there. And in Memphis, obviously, kind of similar in that maybe not a national program per se in most people's minds, but they have had some great wins over the years. They've consistently won. I think Arkansas, even though we know the schedules have been a little different, Arkansas would have loved to have had their wins over the year. I think whoever scheduled the whoever put that schedule together did Sam Pittman, Hunter Yurchek, and the others no favors. It is if you get through it, you are worthy to be a ranked team. If you don't, then we all know that the whole drama going on with Rhett Lashley and Sam Pittman, which is being tossed out by other media, not us.
Yeah.
You know, Rhett's a good guy. I almost said a good kid, but he's not a kid anymore. I remember him when he was a kid because I've been covering him for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any changes here. I don't root for anybody to get fired, be it me or anybody else.
No.
I don't root for them to have success either. If you're trying to be objective, but this is a tough schedule. I admire the way Coach Pittman is going about it mentally. What he said at the SEC media days and all that. If there is a change, Rhett would be a good candidate. I'm sure a lot of others would be a good candidate, but we got a full 12 games and 1 month of practice, and a lot of no doubt speculating over things. But I am ready to take 1 more month before it starts, but then get it going in September.
Yep, and I think
August 30th, I guess, is actually the first.
Yeah, game. We're 31 days away from Razorback football. Matter of fact, we're less than 31 days now. It's 7:30 in the evening, so we are less than 31 days now from Razorback football. I know that probably mid-August, third week of August, right before you really start to pick up for game week, riders, players, coaches, at some point, everybody's going to hit a tipping point where they're like, okay, we're done with this shit. We're done talking about the things that we have seen. We already know what we're going to get. Let's get these damn games on. I really feel like there is a lot. There's a group of fans, and I know it's down there on the crawl, and this is what I'm getting at. There's a group of fans, that 25 to 45 club, that really couldn't care less about some of this stuff until it picks up in October. Only problem is you got basketball now in October. And so I don't know how. I think that the university is actually going to have to put money into game day experience more so than what they have to attract more fans, because there is no incentive other than just the fact that you love to go to the game and have to spend a hell of a lot of money. That demographic has no other incentive to go to a football game right now.
Look, you could play Nickelback's greatest hits if you won football games all the time, and everybody would say the atmosphere is great. But if not, if you're not winning, which Arkansas hasn't done to the level that its fans and its coaches and its players wanted to do here lately, then you're going to have people not show up. You're going to have people look for other things to do. I'm the same way. I don't enjoy going to cover every football game. I'm going to enjoy cover every baseball or basketball game. You have to find a way now that there's a proliferation of them being on TV. Yes, they do have alcohol at the games now. I know that does it for some people. But there is a lot of people who pay a lot of money to come to these games here in Fayetteville now. And, you've got to entertain them. Again, the number one thing I would point out is that if you win, you can play Nickelback. And I got no problems getting Nickelback. It's just, one of the things that everybody throws out. The game day atmosphere is better when you win. Yeah. And, all too often here lately, it's been half and half on the winning or just getting by. You've got to give the program a lot of credit for going to, I think, is it 3 bowl wins in a row? But when you're in a 16-team mega conference and every team is really good, suddenly Vanderbilt's picked above you in the preseason, preseason rankings. It's, something's got to change. We'll see if it does. You have the opportunity with 40 new people or whatever it is coming in again. You have a great coaching staff, I believe, coordinators on down the line. You've got some really good players in here. We'll see how they mesh. I would never dare say that everything's going to be fine this year. I will say that quietly, those around the program feel better about it than they have the last couple of seasons. But then again, they have not played a game and won't for another month.
No, I really feel like if Arkansas does get to 6 wins, they do get to a bowl game. They're competitive in the bowl game because let's face it for just a second. a lot of these teams are starting to headhunt players for next year right now because there hasn't been a lot of tape on these players since April. So now you have freshmen that are coming in, you have guys that are coming into the program. This is the time where some of these teams and these coaches start to headhunt some of these players and start to work on them in the back channels because there's actual practice going on. So if there is that going on, and if Sam can survive with 6 wins, I think that there could be a path for 6 personally. And then you're competitive in a bowl game, he's going to come back next year.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think 6 wins will get you there. That cannot be the goal. Getting to a bowl is a cool thing and all of that, but I don't think 6 wins will do it this year. And part of that reasoning that I have is because there have been too many kids going out of state recruiting wise, and there is a ton of great prospects that are already have announced that they're not going to be, coming here, or at least they're committed elsewhere. I want to say it's 7 of the top 10 have already announced they're going other places. Otis would have a better number on that. Yeah. But I think that the trend needs to be upward. I think they're going to need several more wins than 6 to keep this thing going. And that's not an indictment. That's not a wish that I have. And I say it to Coach Pittman's face. Too. That's what I think. What I know is maybe you have an athletic director that makes a decision different than I thought. Maybe you have a new athletic director. There certainly are a lot of rumors out there. I and like many others think Yurchek has done a really good job on most things. Maybe the publicity or narrative on a couple of things hasn't come out very well, and that they've ridden that. But baseball's been successful. Basketball had a good run. All the other sports are doing well. Football's not, and everybody concentrates on football because that's the so-called cash cow. And if you're not winning in football to the level everybody else is, then it the stuff's going to roll from the top down.
It will. And that is a caveat that I do want to make too, because I feel like that Hunter has hitched his wagon to Sam's, and that if something happens where Hunter is no longer the athletic director here at Arkansas, I do put Sam at an even greater risk possibly than what he might be already going into the season, because your AD is going to want his guy. And if his guy if your guy is not performing to the level of what your fan base has, you're starting to see the downtrodden recruiting, which I personally also feel like is the kiss of death almost with a lot of head coaches here on the Hill, because if you can't recruit in state whenever Arkansas has great prospects coming through, then there's something severely wrong. But I know it might sound like I'm kind of backtracking on myself a little bit here. I do think that there might be 6 wins. I think there is a path, but there are a little bit of a couple of caveats there that if some things do happen or change, then Sam, I think, is kind of flailing in the wind at that point.
Yeah, and it's again, I'm not discounting your opinion. I just think 6 should not be the level that you strive for, and that there's going to be so much pressure. I mean, there's a lot of people that thought he was gone after last year, and they were able to squeak it out, go win the bowl game. Things have been okay over the years, but that cannot be the standard here. And in this super conference they've got right now. And I do want to say that I think there's a lot of people out there that think if they do let Sam Pittman go, that the floodgates will open and everybody will come running in here wanting this job. That's just not true.
No.
Having been around here for 40 years, I know exactly who's interviewed, who's been interested, who has turned down jobs in all the sports. They will get, if they do decide to make a coaching change, they'll get a good to very good coach. They would have to be a cumulative thing of things happen that would allow them to get a great coach in here. It's just not the program that we all remember from back in the day. It is a middling to lower half program in a super conference, and that's just the truth.
If that does happen, I just don't see where a John Tyson type of guy that supports football like John, supports basketball. I don't see that guy walking through that door ready to throw out a checkbook and say, okay, this is a relationship that I have with a certain coach, and they possibly, I think, would be interested. I just don't see that happening with football right now.
They don't invite me out to the club or to the mansion or whatever, but I can imagine that there are plenty of discussions going on among those who have lucrative bank accounts, who make decisions, that they have all these kind of things in place should something happen. And if you think nobody's asked Rhett Lashley whether he'd like to come here, then you're nuts.
Yeah.
If you don't think they've talked to other people, then you're nuts.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think that everybody over there knows they're playing for their job this year, then you're just wrong. And I'm not trying to act omnipotent. I'm not trying to act like I know everything, but I sit here and I hear a lot, and I talk a lot, but a lot of times I just sit and I'm quiet and listen. And a lot of the stuff going on there, this is not going to be a decision made in October. It's a decision that's already been made with caveats, as you were saying, on what would happen. And they try to act like that Coach Cal it just happened. They just happened to be in a
I went
room
on a walk and I turned around and I thought, well, this is a place that shit did not happen.
It makes for a great story and all that. But again, having been through 40 years of coaching hires, coaching fires, coaching things that didn't get caught, coaching things that did get caught, over the years, I could write a great book, but I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah. And look at what happened with Musselman. Whenever he was here, USC had reached out to him the summer before everything went downhill. I mean, Arkansas I really feel like, and like you were saying too, I feel like probably right around between February, April, that time frame, that's probably when some of this stuff has already been started to be worked out. It's just they're waiting for the
we all have agents and representatives. As soon as I get off here, I'll be meeting with my agent to see what show we're watching tonight.
All right, well, Dudley, let's get you out here. You got to get that show and get that started.
Once again, man, just enjoy the hell out of it. We will stay seeing each other and all that. We may not be on there together, but thoroughly enjoyed it and wish you the best of luck.
You too, man. And we're gonna be. We still got to do lunches sometime. Got to do lunches again.
Definitely.
Cool, man.
Shout out to Neil's Cafe.
Always great food too. God dang, you got a lot of fries. You get a lot of fries with your burger there. I had never had that many fries. It was good though. It was good. We're gonna do Neil's again soon. Dudley, I will catch you later, man. Y'all take care. Thank you. It's been a pleasure of mine. It's been a labor of love bringing you guys all the content that I've been able to help try to create and produce. And it's been a hell of a ride. I want to thank Lanny Beavers for everything that he's done, taking a chance on me. Otis for reaching out, getting to get to meet finally and know Dudley, John, James, Jerry Meadows, Drake Pretty. I'm telling you, everybody. Marshall Foreman. If it wasn't for the pregame show, I never would have gotten to meet Marshall. And that was a thank you to Limbo Parks. He was the guy who put me in touch with Marshall on that part. So,
peace out. We'll see what happens from here on out, but wish everybody the best.
All right, man. Well, y'all take care. Thank you. Have a good night. Stay cool. Go Hogs.